Before installing the stove jack, you want to make sure you remove all of the hardware as well as your aluminum rings with the foam sealer on the back. These rings will go on the outside of the cover with the cover in between, and the stove jack will be mounted to the framework inside. You'll sandwich the cover together and then tighten these, as well as adding a bead of silicone to make sure that it's weatherproof. Our stove jacks are made out of a Q235 steel with a powder coat to make sure that they don't rust. And then your seal on the outside that will hug the cover is made of aluminum with a foam glazing strip on to ensure there's a nice tight fit, but you're not damaging the cover. They'll come in 2 pieces, so it's an easy install from the outside of the dome back onto the cover in between, and then on top of your steel stove jack. Stove jacks will be custom to your dome depending on the placement. This stove jack specifically is going to go on the very top part of the dome, so you can see there's very minimal angle to the actual hole coming out. We also offer a 6-inch and an 8-inch stove jack. Normally the 6-inch is for burning something like a pellet stove where you don't need as big of a flue gas piping coming out, whereas the 8-inch is going to be more of your natural wood, where you need a little bit bigger flue piping to be able to get all of your combustion gases outside of the dome safely. If you have a lower stove jack, say on row 2 or 3, you're going to see quite a bit different of an angle here. It's going to be more steep to make sure you have a straight shot out of your dome. We're just getting the stove jack into a position here. So at the top of the dome, what you want to do is put a couple bolts through it to hold it in a position of where it's going to end up. You can then stick a marker through the middle of it and mark out where you're going to need to cut your hole. You do have a little bit of play. You can cut your hole about 1 inch wider all the way around. That's still going to end up within your bracket that's pinching the cover together. As you can see, these holes are about 4 inches off to the side on the top and about 2 inches off to the side on around the side. So you do have play there if you cut your hole a little bit bigger so you're not fighting with it. You want to make sure that your stove plate is on the outside of your framework so you get a nice tight seal with the cover. Once your stove jack's in place, you can add your washers, your nuts, snug it all up. And now we're putting on our aluminum foam slats to make sure that it's all weatherproof on the outside. I have somebody on the inside using the nuts, and I'm putting the bolts through the holes through the frame of the stove jack on the outside here. We've also added silicone for a seal, so none of the water or any weather will get into your stove jack through any of the bolts here. One of the easiest ways to make sure that your bolts will get through the cover with ease is to mark your holes, and before you push the bolt through, cut a little X in them with a utility knife to make sure that you have a clear path and you're not fighting the cover.